Actually, Mark Levin is off today. I'm Jerry Agar, broadcasting from high above Chicago from Mark's proud Chicago affiliate, WLS. If you ask Americans, and I'll get to the poll results in just a second, whether or not they think that income should be redistributed by the government, they say no, but there's a very good chance Barack Obama will win this election. And what is he about if it's not redistribution of income? That's what made Joe the plumber so instantly popular. Or hated, whichever was the case. Because he got Barack Obama to say out loud what he believes in. Redistribution of wealth. If that's not communist, I don't know what is. And here in Chicago today, Mayor Daley, who by the way is a big Obama supporter, no surprise, is extolling the virtues of a program that he has in Chicago, paying kids for grades. Now you may think that's a good idea or not a good idea, to have financial rewards coming from the state, but listen to this reason that Daley gives. He says because suburban parents reward their kids with cars and trips, etc., for good grades, then the kids in the city should get the same benefits. Of course, that would then be at the expense of the people in the suburbs, or the people in the city who are actually doing all right. And yes, it is some of the people in the suburbs because it's state money and it's federal and all of that. They're using some private dollars for this in the beginning, but you know where Daley wants to go with it. It's the notion behind it that bothers me. What planet are people like this on? You can't do something nice for your kids unless you pay for everybody else's kids too? We're getting to a tipping point in this country where the takers have outnumbered the earners. We're past that tipping point at the federal level. 55% of American people, 45% of American people don't pay federal taxes. And 10% of American people pay very, very little, and they're excited that maybe Barack Obama will eliminate that altogether and they can become a taker instead of a giver to the system. We might as well get to the point where everybody just throws everything into a big pot and the government will dole it out. But what happens when you do that? Well, then the smart people, the entrepreneurial, the inventive, eventually just say, what's the point? They're just going to take away everything I accomplish anyway. So what's the point? Pretty soon nobody has any ambition and we turn into France. And here's a poor guy, all he did was ask Barack Obama a question about tax policy, and it catches on the internet and around the media because he got Barack Obama to admit that he wants to redistribute wealth, and now he's under attack. I couldn't believe it when I opened newspapers. The Chicago Sun-Times here in Chicago devotes page 2 and 3 to attacking Joe the plumber. Oh, he doesn't have a plumber's license. He does this. He doesn't. That's immaterial. It doesn't matter what Joe is in his life, what he does for a living. All that matters is that he asked Barack Obama a question, we got an answer, and we should be discussing that. We shouldn't be discussing Joe the plumber, whether we want to build him up or knock him down. I'll build up what he brought out. I'll build up what he said he believed in when he did a couple of television interviews, one with Katie Couric, who, by the way, have you noticed, has restyled her hair to look like Sarah Palin. Maybe Sarah was more popular on the set with the guys than Katie was. And Katie thought, I got to do something about this. I don't know. That's what the picture looked like. But immediately the attack started on Joe the plumber in order to try to get off the topic that he had raised. And then the attacks got so bad, I was sent an email with a court record from his divorce purporting to show Joe the plumber beats his wife. You know what it was? It was Joe the plumber got divorced, and there was a distribution of some of the money that the court collected to various agencies, one of which was a shelter for battered women. $10. Believe me, that's not the fine for beating your wife. It's not the penalty. But they were so eager, so hot to find anything that would discredit this guy that had made their guy admit he's a communist. This is the kind of stupidity that came forward. It's like the instant stories that came out on Sarah Palin. that were proven one after another to not be true. And I don't care whether Joe the plumber has a license. Frankly, most of the time the license is just so the government can take more money off of you. If he can fix my pipes, I'm happy with him. But that's immaterial again. But what do we get from Joe Biden? Joe the politician. I don't have any Joe the plumbers in my neighborhood that make $250,000 a year. You know what? It never occurred to me to wonder what a plumber makes. I've hired plumbers. Here's my problem. Can you fix it? Yes. How much are you going to charge? Here's how much. All right, I'll pay you. Sometimes when the plumber leaves, I think, boy, he must be making a lot of money. And I thought, well, I'm not interested in being a plumber, so it doesn't really matter. He solved my problem. I voluntarily paid him. That's all I care. That's all I need to know. But instead, he's attacked and attacked and attacked. Senator Obama, by the way, made what? $4 million in 2007? Is that what was reported? $4 million? Is he going to give away $3,750,000, pay the taxes on $250,000, and spread the wealth around? You going to do that? Hey, at least John McCain finally is getting a little stronger in some of his comments, standing up for himself and for what's right in this country. And here's what he said today. Joe asked Senator Obama a tough question, and I'm glad he did. I think Senator Obama could use a few more tough questions. The response from Senator Obama in his campaign yesterday was to attack Joe. People are digging through his personal life, and he has TV crews camped out in front of his house. He didn't ask for Senator Obama to come to his house. He wasn't recruited or prompted by our campaign. He just asked a question. And Americans ought to be able to ask Senator Obama tough questions without being smeared and targeted with political attacks. So to this poll that I mentioned, I'm Jerry Agar from Chicago, filling in for Mark Levin tonight. The number is 877-381-3811. 877-381-3811. You can go to marklevinshow.com. Gallup did some research on what people in America think of income redistribution. When given a choice about how government should address the numerous economic difficulties facing today's consumer, Americans overwhelmingly, by 84 to 13%, prefer that the government focus on improving overall economic conditions and the job situation in the United States, as opposed to taking steps to distribute wealth more evenly among Americans. The questions were, which approach should the government focus on? Take steps to distribute wealth more evenly among Americans, or take steps to improve overall economic conditions and the job situation? And nationally, again, 84% of the people said take steps to improve the overall economic condition. Only 13% of the people said redistribute the wealth. Let's break it out politically and look at the Democrats. 19% of Democrats wanted to redistribute wealth. 77% said take steps to improve overall economic conditions and the job situation. And yet what's happening? They are running, and many Americans, perhaps the majority of Americans, at least electorally, and maybe the majority of Americans, are going to vote for Barack Obama, the most gung-ho wealth redistributor I've seen since FDR. What's wrong in this country?